sorry. I always mess that up. Hello. Hello. It is 5:30 p.m. It is Sunday. It is April 21st, 2019. I still know the year. And yeah, I'm still working on Klein. I am very tired, and this is going to be a very short stream, I think. But I figured it's been 7 days. I have to at least do something here. Right. The things that have happened this week. I can't tell you most of what I've done this week because it's been part of the last third of the game, the stuff I'm not spoiling very intentionally. But I set up basically the end game cinematic and kind of 2 narrative beats right before that. That was the bulk of my work this week, for me personally. I've had the guys, the environment artists, spinning out some other stuff. They mostly work through a lot of my notes. I really just hated what the soundboard was looking like, so I kind of scrapped it, redid it, showed them what I wanted, and then had them redo it again, kind of like with feedback. And so we've been spinning on this a bit, and I think we're finally at a place with that we can build on. It's not done yet. I'll show you where it is now. Oh, my headphones are. Whoops. That's loud. Okay. What was I doing? The soundboard. So I think this is all busted, but I think we'll go with the idea that the knobs actually stick up quite a bit, and you slide around on top of them. This is kind of a new idea. I think it looks coolish. I want them to scuff up the board more. I have the notes for them for this and stuff, but and I still need to come up with a wind condition for this area. I actually think this shaded looks better, and I think we need to push towards something like that for everything. Anyway, yeah, so the soundboard was one of the things we tackled this week. They're still rolling through that. They're going to finish that up on... That's Andy. He's going to finish that up on Monday. Sorry, Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, I think, for some people. My art director's out all next week, so... I'm basically down a man, plus everybody else has to talk to me, so I'm going to be interrupted a lot this coming week. But yeah, for the most part, I can't show you what I've been doing, because it's been super secret and super cool. I'm trying to think. Other than that, there's been loads of bug fixes and stuff. I'm very tired. I basically work... This last week was probably the hardest I've crunched yet. I don't think I did anything other than work and sleep for the week. But it's fun. I just keep cycling through the tasks. Hey Popcans, what's up, man? Hey user. Happy Sunday. This morning, because it's Sunday, I usually play through the game. So usually throughout the week I dive into a specific area and I kind of focus on that. And whatever it is I need to do for that area. This week, other than, for the most part, I was in the end game stuff, but I was also briefly on the soundboard and so forth. Hey Calhoun. It's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Usually on Sunday I play through I try to play through the whole kind of game, or a large chunk of it as a player would, without drilling down too deeply in any specific thing, and I take notes, and some of them are super polishy and some of them aren't, and I just try to bang through those notes. And I gave the notes that for the artist to them already, but I have a couple there. I could work on that. Oh, there's loads of stuff here. My to-do list is turning into a burn down list, where you just at some point you reach that point where you can make a list for everything you need to do to finish the game. And I'm starting to get there with some of the areas, but it's also really daunting, because it's a lot. Because usually I keep my to-do list short enough that I can accomplish everything within a couple days, but now that it's turning into a burn down list, it's just very long. And I don't have time to polish any given area because I've got to kind of get everything to a certain base level. Anyway, one of the things I did get this week is new HUD buttons. I should put that in. That's pretty important. And some of these higher level things are kind of important. Maybe we start with HUD buttons. I'm back from my early dinner / whatever the fuck I just ate. Meal 3. Yeah, you went to EGX Rest. Cool. Was it a good time? To be fair, you haven't missed my streams. I don't stream very frequently. It's even this, like I almost skipped today. Cause like, I'm just tired. I'm just tired. Just funny because the last podcast I did was about how I'm not tired at all and I can crunch forever. Now I'm like, this last week was a little rough. But then I ate a bit of food and I felt like streaming. So fuck it. Let's look at these HUD buttons. Let's take a look at what my artist gave me. You know, you realize we're so close to this week, what they're gonna do. Oh yeah, and they also did this calendar. I should have given them notes on that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. On the design side of things, I did a quick pass. Oh, I forgot all kinds of shit I did this week that I can show you. So I decided to try to take a stab myself at what the combo levels would look like. So that's right, I remember now. I woke up on Tuesday morning and I realized what I wanted it to be, because I always had this idea that this paper would be something, and I thought it'd be cool if it folded into like origami boxes. And so I sent them a Pinterest board of origami boxes, and they sent me back. Let's see if I can find it. They sent me back this model, which I put in game, and it just didn't really work well because it was just insanely busy when you actually see this in a level, all these X's everywhere. So like, I turned that, I took that model, I tweaked it first. I got rid of most of the X's and then I put it in game, and I started playing with a shader and I did everything I could, and I just couldn't get it to look good with that given texture. Like it just felt way too busy. And so I kept spinning on that day, and I think in the end, oh, they haven't changed it yet. I can just show you. Ignore that part. This is kind of where I ended up. And I realized I have so much to do for everything, because I'm doing the everything that's not the environment art. I can't do the environment art as well. So I sent them this and I said, start here, remove all the X's from the boxes like I did here, and show me something that looks like folded origami paper that'll kind of work in this area. The idea being like, when you enter a level, the papers fly up, fold, and then fall from the sky. I think that's how I want to do this area. Ignore all this. It's a work in progress. Another huge thing was getting back to a place where like you can see what, how do I explain it? You can see the levels that you can stand on. Being able to read this in 3D space is very difficult. And the shaders before were built to support that a little bit better. Like here's the old shader. You can kind of feel out. This one's actually not that good. Show me like... Maybe it was never good. Whatever. That was one of the things I did this week. Rest was good. Many games to play. Lots of people to catch up with. Yeah, the shows are fun. You hope the stream is a good break. No, there'll be no break. Content lock is in June. And I have so much to do. But it's going to be worth it. I'm really, really excited about this game. Every Sunday I play the game like a player would, and I love it. Like, I'm really excited. I don't think I've never had fun playing a game I've made. Which is fine. Like, when you're an artist, you don't worry about that so much. That's not your job, in a way. You get excited about the job, you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of hard to explain. I think when you're a designer, you kind of have to like the genre you're working in. Or at least you have to understand it or play a lot of games in that genre and so forth. But when you're an artist, you don't really. Like, your job is, you just focus on the craft of what you do. And it's way less important that you actually like the genre or that you even really, like, I mean, I worked on The Flame and the Flood, and I don't really like roguelikes at all. And most artists working in the games industry don't really enjoy shooters. Like, most of the artists that are modeling guns for first-person shooters are like liberal arts majors that hate guns. I mean, there's just a certain reality here. So in a weird way, I mean, I've always felt pride in everything I've made, and I've always like felt an attachment to it, but this is the first time like I actually kind of love the product I'm making. You assume most devs don't like to play their games since they have to play it so much. Yeah. I mean, I used to think that too, but I like playing this still. I mean, it's well past I've memorized every puzzle, but I don't know. It's different this time. It's hard to explain. It's made me yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think because it is so much mine. And I just love it so much more. But I mean, I always liked my part of everything, you know? I don't know. It's hard to explain. Oh god, the list is so long. Oh, fuck. That's the downside. Like, it's really fun. I'm not a solo dev anymore, but I am still doing all the programming and all the design and everything that isn't just the environment art. And there's a lot of environment art, don't get me wrong. We still need to crank in the environments, but there's just a lot that isn't that too. Okay. Some of these are things you have to think about. I think we've, like, most of the questions that you have to think about, like the architecture, the design architecture, and the tech architecture are done. Now it's just, we're past the questions and we're onto their very specific problems to solve. And the problems are breaking apart into smaller problems, so it's not as bad. Ooh, thank you. I'm still... Thanks, Polydolphin. Let me fix that. I think can I fix it while it's live? Let's find out. I don't know how to change it. Oh, look, there's my face. Okay. Solo dev. On Steam here. Yeah, can I edit this? Live ped. This is crap. You guys want to see my Twitter feed? Okay, stop getting distracted. Epic Game Store. What happens if you click that link? Did anybody try? I should say not. Wow, there's dark circles under my eyes. I need to get like that special makeup that's like basically paint. Now I'm watching myself talk about my eyes. That's cool. Alright, on. Alright, what do we call the Epic Game Store? EGS? I can't wishlist it. I can't do a call to action. Just available. Available here. Someday it will be. Close enough. Anyway, thanks. No, there's no wishlist. The concept of wishlist isn't available yet on Epic Store. Oh, and it's in 2 places? Thank you, Polybi Dolphin. Edit. Fixed. We'll see. Like pop cans? I hope so. I don't have as... I'm mad at myself for not having more people play it, but I feel like I'm so close to a place where there's 2 problems. Like, there's still some of the higher level stuff. Like, I can go into each area and make each area perfect, but the work you do where you make sure the whole game, all the different areas unlock correctly, I slacked on doing that until about like last weekend, and so I wasn't having people play for that reason. I mean, people have played the first hour, but I need people to play through the entire game. I have 0 feedback on like anything in the last third of the game or in any of these side sections. I just haven't had people play them yet, which is a huge problem at this point, right? Because I'm like, I was planning to be content lock in mid-June. I'm aiming for June 1st, but everyone else will roll off the project June 1st. So about mid-June, I'll be content lock. And I should have had people playing the game more by now. I've had playtests, but not... I had a handful of people play through the whole game, I think. I don't know. I'm just mad at I haven't had people play more. I feel like that's the number one thing you always tell people. It's like have a playtest every month, and I haven't had a playtest for the second half of the game in about 3 months, which is bad. So I'm pretty mad at myself, but I'm going to fix that. Yeah, the Steam store page has a "this game has been removed" thing. I did that intentionally. I was kind of scared that, not scared, I didn't want to have the game available on Steam and then announce that I was coming to the Epic Game Store first. I didn't want people to, like, hear about the game, wishlisted on Steam, and then see it for sale in the Epic Game Store. Some part of me felt like that was weird. And I also didn't want to, like, I didn't think Valve would like it if I put available for 1 year ahead of time in the Epic Game Store on the Steam page. I felt like that would be weird. There's definitely different thoughts about this, though. Like, it's definitely true. Like, Ryan Clark was a huge proponent of, like, no, leave your Steam page up, even if you're announcing you're going to be on Epic Storefront, because you'll get more wish lists on Steam, and those wish lists never go away. And I just basically nuked my wish lists when I pulled the page. Which is, I guess, which is definitely a bad thing to do, but I don't know, man. Just didn't feel right. Don't want to get in trouble. Cool. That podcast was like a week ago. I forgot I had talked about that. The podcast yesterday I did, I don't know how that one's going to turn out. I think he's editing it now, but it was like, we basically woke up, we were both super tired, and there was nothing in the news. And I think we talked about like Elon Musk at one point. I don't know, he's going to cut the shit out of that, I hope. I hope he cuts that down. Yeah, it's going to be on Epic Game Store for a year before it comes out on Steam. It's also going to be on consoles. I don't know exactly which ones yet. That's another thing I gotta chase down. My dream is to be out on all consoles at the same time that I come out on the Epic Game Store, but I don't know for sure that that'll happen, and I'm not gonna officially say anything yet about that. And I'm having some real trouble getting Sony to respond to any emails. Like, I just don't have any connections to Sony. I don't know how else to put it. Like, usually you can back channel these things if you have a friend, or if you're, because I'm on Epic's storefront, I can get Epic to kind of back channel things for me, because Epic wants the games that go on their storefront to look like these really shit hot amazing games that you can't get on Steam. Like, they were the ones that pushed me to go hard for the console. I didn't want to. I wanted to take my time, come out on PC first, fix all the bugs, and then port and not do a simultaneous release. They were the ones that, and they were really nice about it. They showed me data, and they're like, you should definitely try to come out on all of them at the same time. We'll help you. And they could help me with everything except for Sony, which is just like, I don't know, maybe at Sony. I applied on their website. Somebody gave me like a contact email. I've pinged them. Like, I don't know what to do. Supporting the console's a quick turnaround. I can't tell you my launch date. It's pretty quick. Yeah. It depends. Like, it depends on how many. I can say we've done things pretty fast and loose in the past. Like, I remember for the Flame and the Flood, we launched on the Xbox and on the PC in February 15th. And I know we were not in content lock until January. Like, we pushed that one hard, but we kept the Xbox build working the entire time through development, because we were partnered so tightly with Microsoft. So that was a very different situation. Whereas this, like, I'm not even gonna have them start on the build until June, and yeah, because of that, I have to give them a couple months in case something goes wrong. I mean, I don't have a launch date, but I know I don't want to come out too late in the year. Like, I'm actually probably going to email Sergey. I think the soonest I could come out, it depends. Depends on if I'm going to come out on everything at the same time or not. And I shouldn't say anything about it, because you're not supposed to talk about it, because you don't want to let people down. You know what I mean? But yeah, I will say this. I don't want to be launching in November, December. That's way too late. And it's not going to be ready in the summer. I'm just not going to be done by then. So it'll be sometime in between. And the console ports, I think each of them, if I was to come out on all three, I think they would probably, like, the safest and manageable thing would be I give them the game and they give me all three. They take all three, port them, put them through cert for me. I've hired Disbelief. A bunch of my friends do this. I think they would probably want about 3 months for that. Yeah. Yeah, it's better to say too little than too much, but I talk too much. What's she gonna do? I definitely have to roll back any promises about consoles. Don't, like, tweet anything. I have no idea. I'm making no promises as far as that stuff goes, because I really don't actually know how a lot of this works. And I do know there are certain things you don't want to... If you come out on the Xbox first and you don't come out on the PS4, Sony will not like you very much for that. I don't know how much that fucking matters. And I have a really good relationship with Microsoft. But nobody's offered me money yet. That's the other side of this. Like, there's a lot of potential deals for the different consoles if you do an exclusivity deal, and I'm not willing to take that off the table. Like that would be nice. Because there's a lot of I don't know. I do know people are there are some of my friends that are currently doing the double dipping, PC exclusive in the Epic Games Store, console exclusive with a console. That's a really nice thing to do right now because you get a lot of, you basically fund development. At that point, you could have 0 sales and you'll be fine. I don't think I want that necessarily for Kind, though. I don't know what I want. Everything is a number. Have I tried talking to Microsoft yet on it? I tried talking to them about it a long time ago, but they weren't interested back then. It's different now, though. They have a different goals. I think they're, I don't know. We'll talk. I'll know more after E3. That's basically what it comes down to. I'll talk to them. I'm trying to get into their, what do you call it? They do like these little events around E3 and PAX and stuff, and I've been like kind of harassing my contacts at Microsoft to try to get into one of those events because I am in their ID program, right? So at a minimum, I can try to get into those because that's great publicity. I love that stuff. A lot of their focus right now is definitely on their subscription and streaming services stuff, and I don't know if I want to jump in bed with Microsoft on that, really. So I'm not entirely sure where I stand on that. I don't really know enough about it. In any case. And I don't need the money, eh? And I kind of really do, if at all possible, want to be on the Switch. I kind of am bullish on the Switch when it comes to puzzle games. I'm more bullish, in the short term, I'm more bullish on the Switch than I am on the streaming services stuff, I think. I think Kind specifically works well because it looks glorious on a 4K monitor and it's a stylized look that shrinks down really well, which I think plays well for the Switch. Like, I think I accidentally made something perfect for the Switch. Also, this kind of art style I think would do well in Asia. What game is this? Port Ponky? I'm sure there won't be a ton of indies showing at the E3 conferences. Yeah, I think E3 is interesting. Sony's sitting it out. What can we say about E3? I mean, there's definitely a lot of studios that have gone dark that must have stuff to announce. Like, off the top of my head, I'm surprised we haven't heard anything from Ghost Story yet. Ken Levine's been very quiet. That's the only Boston local one. At a time when, like, we have a kind of content war going on right now between a lot of different parties. So I feel like somebody's going to come out. There's going to be some surprises at E3 this year, I think. I hope. Maybe. Probably not in the indie space. But I mean, indies never go hard at E3, right? The AAA indies are signing with Apple and with Epic. Hi. And with, you know, like, I think you've heard about what a lot of the AAA indies are doing. But maybe not. I don't know. Bethel's been real quiet. Love to see what Tom Francis is putting his stuff on. I think Jonathan Blow's Sokoban game is probably 2020. That might be a PS4. Who else? There's a couple I know about that I can't, but I don't think anybody I know is announcing at E3. It's gonna be a weird year. Thanks, Docky. Yeah, it was cool to get on the Epic Store. They are cool. That was probably the biggest stroke of luck for me. Like, that is probably the luckiest thing that's ever happened to me. Because I don't think you guys realize I was physically in Epic's office when they were announcing that storefront. How do you solve the puzzle game? That's the worst puzzle of all. You hope Epic features these games properly? I mean, the small following I have is because of Epic. I owe them pretty much everything, and they've funded the game, and they gave me enough funding that I could theoretically come out on consoles if I can figure out all the bureaucratic bullshit. But like, I owe them a lot. And I mean, when you say, I mean, Taki, they showcased Kine at GDC, and they gave me several hundred t-shirts to give away to people. Like, there was 300 Kine t-shirts that I gave away at GDC. I don't know how much nicer. Like, that's pretty much as close to featuring the game properly as I can imagine. Like, I don't think they're going to send me to Gamescom, but that's only because they're not going there. Like, they've been pretty good. Some people just fucking lost their t-shirts. Yeah, they made, that was wild too. They're like, we had a phone call after, like, you have to understand, so much is happening so fast that they lose track of stuff. But they had a phone call with me, and they're like, so yeah, you signed with us, what do you need for support? And I was like, well, can I show in your booth at GDC? Like, oh yeah, of course. But I mean, for the t-shirts, by the way, the deadline for that is the end of the week, so you're gonna have to give us designs for your t-shirt by the end of the week. And I was like, what t-shirt? And they're like, oh yeah, we're printing a couple hundred t-shirts for every game we're showing. So then I had to, like, design a t-shirt. It was pretty nuts. But yeah, like, they've been angels so far. This is definitely great. I don't think I would have gone. I suspect I'll be doing better on the Epic Store than I would have done on Steam. I just think I've said it a million times, but I just think there's an audience. Yeah, I think Steam, the art style of games that succeed on Steam tend to be grim dark. The games that succeed on Steam tend to be highly replayable, roguelike, narrative, or not narrative. I mean, they've got a specific sort of a game that does well on Steam. You know what I mean? And Kine is not that specific sort of a game, so I'm willing to take a bet on not Steam. Yeah, I like pop cans. It did. It didn't give me any, like, traditional press, which is scary, and I don't really have a plan for the press in any way other than make the game good and pray. Which is basically not a plan. So I do need to figure that out. My current plan is beg Microsoft to showcase my game at E3, and then probably I'm just gonna keep begging third party. Most likely Microsoft. This is basically my move. So I harass the storefronts nicely. I appreciate the production quality threshold on Epic. Yeah. I think the other thing is they can't afford to have a lot of games right now. They just don't have, like, they're building the storefront as they're selling these games. They're doing it as quickly as possible, but they can't also just, I mean, every game they put on their storefront right now, they have to a human being has to hand crop all the images and all this stuff. So, because there's no back end, there's no automated processes, this is their first time doing a lot of this stuff. So it's just been, they can't open it up yet. I know that's definitely their goal, eventually. Port Ponky, have you started getting work done yet? Or have you continued to not do shit since GDC? Calling you out. Start making that 4D game or whatever the fuck it is you're doing. Yeah, ever since I updated the engine, everything flickers. Well, just that one particle effect flickers, only in the editor. Really freaking me out. So the only things left to do this week, Andy's gonna finish up this area. I think other Andy is going to finish up the temple. And I thought they were concepting this. I want them to get this done. And then we'll have the main area done. Well, they've got a concept for this stage. Curious to see how that actually works. And I don't like... I told them to change this texture, but I don't think I articulated it very well because I hate what they changed it to. They just kind of made it bad. Straight lines. I just kind of don't like it. Partly my fault. I designed a card game. Hey, that's actually stuff. Hey Games, plus James. It's going good. Kind is good. Kind is continuing to occur. I was going to look at UI stuff. I'm so sick of fucking working on shit. This list is never gonna end. But that's just what happens at this point in the project. It's just becoming a burn down list. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's just going to start getting smaller. And all the tasks, you're going to bang on them, they're going to fracture into smaller tasks. And then eventually they're going to come back as bugs when you didn't implement them well enough. And that's fine, because that's how it gets done. So I have to update the HUD with the new buttons that I got from my art director. Where did I get those? Let's play. Where did the art director put these buttons? Maybe he told me on Skype. Let's find out. This is not it. This is the one I wanted. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the HUD I had before, adding a background, and adding a drop shadow so that they look like buttons. Where? HUD buttons are in. Damn it, that's not a URL. Oh, what the fuck? Did he literally put them in the game? No. But if this is true... Did it work? Holy shit, it worked, kind of, almost. Not for all of them. Not for pause. I don't think we use pause. eject button. No. That was an idea I did not like. This is gonna be easier than I thought. Hey Marcos, what's up, man? I should figure out what art design shit I need to do for 40 stuff. Alright, how did I do this before? Well, that's wrong. That way you can't click it. Hey games, I'm probably gonna just start working on the UI stuff. I'm glad you liked it, Taki. That's really sweet, man. Yeah, that's the same reason I got a 4K monitor. It was kind of like the oops moment. I probably should have done that from the beginning. It was stupid of me. We've eaten too much chocolate. Alright, so this is what it'll look like. Kinda wish, well, I do like that button push. I think I'd like it more if the button filled in, but that's okay. Alright, let's change this out. I don't want to select you anymore. I don't remember how I dynamically set these anymore. Guess this is how I do it. Okay. Made a function. I don't remember doing this anymore. It's disabled. Thanks, Jackie. That was definitely the goal. Definitely had a lot of effort into exactly that. A lot of the subtleties of certain things are gone. Like, I did, when we moved over to this new art style, the reason why initially I had so many lines overhanging was to help you see the grid at times. Like, right here, there's no way to know that there's 2 grid tiles in this gap, right? Which matters more on like oh, this is the wrong area. So if he's gonna jump, how does he know how many tiles there are there, right? Before I had the lines overhanging quite a bit, usually overhanging by about a tile, so you could kind of feel the grid, whereas now you can't so much, and I do kind of want to push back towards that, but we're out of time, so, and that's just sort of, yep, that was a lot of pushback too, because I feel like that was definitely something I had to push hard for. Like in my ideal world, every level is one object, and that object is broken up with details on that object, right? And you can tell anytime I like leave town and come back, all of a sudden there's lots of little boxes, and then I have to like get angsty about it. That's most of what I do. It's getting angsty about the one-off little boxes because it's cheating. but it does make it a lot faster to make the game. And there are times when you need to do that. And they do some really cool shit sometimes. I'm excited about what my artists are doing. You can definitely tell the areas Andy's in, because Andy just likes to go off the fucking rails. Like, where... He snuck this in. He's been trying to hide things under things. Like, whenever you turn through a level, sometimes when the levels fly up, there'll be like a little peekaboo, like some little object. Which is cool if it fits, but it's not cool if it's like a little dinosaur. I'm like, Andy, there's no fucking dinosaurs in Kind, man. You gotta make it gone. I appreciate the attention to detail. Yeah. I think the rule book I threw them for the... Like, the two things I constantly have to fight for are... As much as possible, try not to make one-off boxes and stop making anything with a bevel. That's another thing that's just like, I hate to do it, but I'm like, I will, if you keep putting in stuff with bevels, I'm gonna keep cutting it. Because I just want those sharp edges. I want the whole world to kind of look angular and have these drawn lines. The bevels get rid of that kind of sketchy look. Anytime you have too many bevels and things, and they still got a couple in there. Like, this is fine, this is okay. But there's been a couple places where they've like, I still kind of fight against the bevels. I think I managed to kill most of them in the game, like the most egregious ones. Got a real axe to grind with those. Another thing is anytime there's a trick you can do where you duplicate the polys and extrude them and then invert them in order to create an outline, but it creates a very generic and boring outline that is also definitely not the art style. Like, here's a great example. A lot of their stuff will come in like this, which is exactly both like soft, sometimes with even softer curves, and with an outline kind of like this, as opposed to just drawing a line. Which is not the art style. It's fine, it's not like bad art, it's just not the art style. There's times when you have to do that technique, like here. I get it, for chords. But you shouldn't have to do that in a box. You should be able to just draw the lines, like they drew the lines here. Yeah. It's good. I mean, it's the fun... It's heartbreaking taking somebody's work and telling them this is great, but it's not the art style. And everything has to look like it comes from one person. Everything kind of has to have that same unified look, you know? And not, even if there's times you have to cut something that's higher quality or pull something back that's higher quality because it just doesn't fit in with everything else. Yeah. I mean, I feel you, Daki. Level design trolling. Yeah, the dinosaur had to go. The rest I've kept. He had a whole backstory about Macbeth for why this skull has to be here. And I was just like, he started going on, I'm like, you know what, fine, whatever, man. It fits. But I love Andy. Andy's cool. What was I telling you about? Oh yeah. So like when I had to, because there was a couple times that I had to do it, and I told them that they could do it because I've had to do it. And I'll show you, like on the trombone, if this ever loads. My loading time in the editor has gone up. Which is definitely my fault. So see, right now it's in purple actually. See this outline here? Do you see how it's also... I pulled it out and I inverted it, but I also just kind of, here a little shittily, pulled the verts around a bit so that it wasn't that kind of uniform look. So it still had that kind of sketchy quality. I'm actually not even sure if I like it. Whereas I didn't here. Here you can see that it's straight. It's more obvious when it's bright purple like this. I should probably fix this model. But you can see how like this looks kind of gloopy in some ways. And this looks straight. I was kind of deciding which one to do, which one would look better, because the reality is his arm is a cylinder. I can't just draw lines there, you know? Do you want to hear some stuff? Can you guys hear the music right now? I'll tell you what did happen. Mitchell dropped into the game, and I'll admit I wasn't the biggest fan of the trombone at first. I'm coming around to it, but I am a huge fan of what he did for the accordion. I'm gonna pump up the jams here. You can hear my desktop, right? Yeah, okay. This is nice, right? I love that. He did a good job. He had fun. Maybe Docky. Yeah, I really feel like he had fun. I feel like he crushed it. Oh, that was good. Yeah, he did good stuff with the accordion. I'm gonna need him to do the sound effects for the end of the game soon. God damn. This is actually happening. I might actually finish this fucking game. Alright, but I won't if I keep hanging out, right? So many. Oh, musicians are the best. Alright, what were we doing? We added that button. Now, let's dive into how I arrange things for... Actually, let's not run the game. I have regret. It's about to rain. This, set the button positions differently. Oh good, and just hard-coded it with numbers. That's useless. There's probably no other way to do it, simply, huh? Okay. So let's flip it over. I want to see what it looks like with the controller. Redo goes to -270, -40. -210, -85. Wait, which one are you? Undo all. -150, -40. Is this... yeah. Is this what it looks like on a controller? Ah, -85. That looks like what I expected. Okay. So what I actually want you to be is probably just like that, but higher. And I want to add a new image. Oh, I can barely freaking see that thing. This is a variable missing controller button. Oh, there you are. Later, Docky. Good plan. Yeah, I'm gonna evaporate after the game launches. I mean, I have dreams for what happens, but a lot of it depends on how well the game does, right? Like, this game is supposed to lead into another game. The last level in this game is the beginning of the next one. It's kind of the way it's supposed to be, but people have to buy this game for that to happen. And this, initially, before, I didn't think I was going to get this game funded, and I thought this would be like kind of, I would make this game and then people would be like, if it hit and did well, people would see where it's going and would fund it for the next game. And now I got this game funded too, so that's still kind of the plan, but we'll see. People have to play the game, like it enough to play it to the end, think that's cool, and then if that happens, I will definitely work on the next one. But it is supposed to be leading into a sequel. Ideally a trilogy. Everything cool is a trilogy. It's kind of the... But again, there's a lot of ifs in there, right? Like the game actually has to do well. I mean, critically well. I have to actually keep wanting to make it. Hey Adwell, what's up? Does that look right to you guys? doesn't look right to me. For one thing, I feel like that circle needs to be way lighter. Those buttons need to move up closer. Thanks, Edwell. I appreciate it, man. To keep my design organized. No, it's just Notepad. I don't have to, like, get a team of people to congeal around an idea. So, that sort of thing just isn't as required. Is this button supposed to be smaller? What was he intending here? Yeah, a bit smaller, I think. It's important to have, like, I mean, this is true for art or whatever you're doing. When you're writing notes, especially early on, have a highly destructive, what is that? Like, the worst thing you can do is put your notes early on into, like a Trello board or some shit. Because what happens is it makes things more important. Things might seem really, really important in the moment, and then your design drifts or things drift, and you basically never go back through your Trello and completely remove things. Once you've put a task into some sort of task management thing, it's harder to get rid of than it is if it's just written on a scrap of paper, and you need to be willing to just kind of like let ideas go. So I'd actually argue it's probably not the best idea to keep a lot of your personal design stuff in Trello. Though, you know, I work in places without producers and didn't always get along super well with producers. So I guess maybe take that with a grain of salt. Just different. Anyway, this is probably fine. Exactly, pop cans. My old Trello Word doc started to crumble from underneath me. So I started changing core design. So I've been shopping around for software to make it less painful next time. Yeah, I mean, early on you just kind of want to be really nimble anyway, right? So you don't want to commit to anything. So you don't want to put anything in any software. You kind of just want to do the thing, wake up, do the thing that seems like, wake up, play the game. What is the thing that makes the game better in like today? And then just do that and let the game kind of drift, at least early on. That's one school of thought. That obviously doesn't work for certain kinds of games, right? There's definitely, like, I don't think that would work for the Flame and the Flood. And I know that's sure shit not how Forest works. I think for a lot of, like, strategy games or games where you need to have, like, a lot of systems that... If you have a large team, that obviously doesn't work. If you're making a game with a lot of systems that interact, or if you have a game where, say you're making an RPG, where the game isn't going to be fun until you have a certain amount of content anyways, you need to not lose track of certain things, then I guess it's probably very different. Yes, of course. The size of the project matters the most. Though I would say even on a large project, the worst thing you can do is, as a designer, I mean, on the art team we make fun of these designers. There's the designer that gets really fucking jazzed about their goddamn wiki. Like, they make a wiki, they organize all their thoughts and they put it in the wiki, and then anytime you have a question, like, well, read the wiki. And you're like, I don't want to read your fucking 58-page bullshit. Answer the question. The wiki's there for you to organize your thoughts, or for us to drill down to something very specific at times, but it's going to fall out of date, like, immediately. We all know this. That's more there for you. It's not really there for us. I just wrote in my hand so it washes away with time. Yeah, that's how... The downside there is if you get too attached to your ideas, you'll stop washing your hands. Right? Eventually you'll stop bathing. You'll just become way too attached to the ideas. You just won't let them go. And I just think personal hygiene is more important than that. Hellcat, I just don't support that kind of behavior. You don't want to be smelly. Nobody likes a smelly coworker. Mine doesn't have a lot of interacting systems, but enough that wake up and work on an interesting thing led me to just screwing around for a few months and making no appreciable progress. Fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Emacs org mode. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably worry about this a lot more. I don't feel right giving people too much design advice either, because this is the first game where I've been a designer. Like in the past, as an animator, you're always kind of really working very tightly with design, but it's in very specific ways. It's always like, I need to know everything about how to I need to know exactly how this gun is supposed to feel relative to this gun. And I need to make sure that, because a designer will, sometimes designers will want a weapon to feel heavier, and so they'll make it shoot slower when what they really need to do is change the ramp on an effect. And so there has to be a lot of give and take with design, where they kind of tell you the intent and what they need, and then you kind of make it happen. Because especially once you get into those larger teams, like an irrational, where there's so many different things that go into a weapon, it's necessary to kind of work together on that. Because the designer doesn't realize when they just scale a number, they're like blowing away or fucking with a large number of systems between the effects, the animation, and when the anim notifies go off. Anyway, so usually if you're an animator working with design, you're working on like the most micro thing. You're not looking at the big picture. You know what I mean? The important question is why, not what. I'm not sure what that comment is in reference to, but sure. Sounds pretty deep. Hinduism. I'm not even sure if you're talking about us. You might just be waxing philosophical about religious stuff. I don't know. It's possible. Thanks, Afro. That's cool, man. It was all solo up until I got funded, basically. It was all solo up until January. And then I have 4 artists for 4 months that have helped me completely redo the environments. And we're still in the process of completely redoing the environments. But the programming, the design, everything that's not the environment art is all me. And obviously, I'm sorry, not obviously, and also the UI. Rick has been helping me a lot with the UI. Because that was crap before. I was spinning my wheels on that for like far too long. I mean, I do all the setting it up. He just gives me art files and draws over it and tells me what he thinks it should look like. And then I tell him he's wrong. And we go back and forth with it. But having Surface Digital help me out with the art has been huge. Oh, and obviously my musician. From the beginning, I had a musician that's been a composer that did the music. Thanks, Effa. Welcome to the party. So, yes, when you switch from mouse and keyboard to controller, this down here happens. I think that looks right. This works. Okay. I got that UI in. Let's call that done. And it still looks good here, right? One of the notes I had that I don't think I'm going to actually do. I should move this buttons over slightly. At one point I thought I should add a level, this opening area where I teach you everything you need to know in like the first 15 minutes just through the puzzles. I was thinking I should add a puzzle where you're forced to undo, because nobody that was playing the game at GDC realized they could undo. And I think that's going to be one of those things I wish I had done, but I'm not going to get to. Because I just haven't had like a really good idea for that. And I don't have time. And it's way too late to just cram another level in. No, that's the thing I'm just kind of sad about. Let's wrap this up and then we'll do a fun task. 144, 270, 207. Nope. The hell? 270. Got it. Can I not remember this? I have brain problems. 207, 144, 270. -50. Yeah, and so I think what I've realized is these all need to move over that much-ish. Maybe it's too there. So you should be 292, 228. $164. Hey, Lone Wolf, what's up, man? Yeah, I changed the UI dynamically. Why implementing other people? Oh, why they want to do something more than what they specifically want to do. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I have them until the end of basically May. I mean, it's not like I have them for a set amount of time. I have a set amount of money, and I've rolled down to 3 artists from 4 in reality. So I'm hoping I can extend them a little bit. But the reality is, in June I'm going to be porting the game anyway. So I need. You reach a point where I've basically said, but after June 15th, I'm going to be the only person in the project other than the programmers, for the sake of... this is a really normal thing in development. You reach a point where only the people who understand absolutely everything about the game are allowed in Perforce, because you can't have anybody shaking the jello when you're trying to optimize the game. And so I'm just going to lock everyone out of Perforce, which is like everyone knows it's coming. But yeah, basically, I am most of the way there. This week, one of the art director over in the outsourcing house I hired, he's out of town next week. So, and the others are working 3 or 4 days each. I think there's only 2 now. So Rick's out of town. Nick is gonna be Monday through Thursday, and Andy's gonna be Tuesday. What is it? He's 4 days as well, but basically, yeah, they're gonna get the soundboard done. They're gonna get this done. They're gonna finish up this screen. Hopefully, also doing the stages. They've already got the calendar, but I think I probably need to think about what I want for the calendar and give notes for that. So I'm not sure what I'm thinking about that. The calendar's obviously a really complicated one because you have to. The calendar serves multiple purposes. And I told them that when they started. I was like, okay, so first off, when you unlock the calendar, you play on the top of the calendar. This is one of the earlier combo levels. So I was hoping they would have notches in here, which is I think why they put that corner. They made this look like like if a calendar was also a transformer or some shit. I don't know how I feel about this. Because nothing else over here. This is all office stuff. I don't know how I feel about this. But yeah, so that unlocks this area. And then you go in here, and this is going to be a level select screen where you're selecting. There's 12 months that have 30 levels in each. Don't get excited, they're very boring levels. This is the daily grind, and you have to grind out a series of levels that are basically exactly the same. Like every day. It's exactly the same. Fucking wake up. Go to work. And you just do your fucking job. In every conceivable way. Over and over in sight. Anyway, while this happens, I was hoping that the I wanted to basically start checking off the calendar as you go. That's another thing the calendar does. What else does it do? I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, the stage for that area has to pop out of the calendar in some way I haven't figured out yet. Still working on a lot of that stuff. Hey T-Bot, what's up? But yeah, that's the calendar area. I don't know. I should probably think about what I want for this. Like I've reached a point where, unless something is like very bad, there's just so much to do and we only have a month. So that's one of the side stages. And I'll show you the other side stages, like they're doing the soundboard. I can actually clean this up while we're in here. So let's go over there. Well, we can unlock it. So this is the closest thing to what I want the soundboard to look like. I've gone back and forth with them on this. Like this one's taken some doing. But yeah. And they'll add scuff marks and some things and fix some of these bugs. But we're pretty close here. I need to add a button for the wind condition. You can see here was a slightly earlier step. This is basically the same thing. And this, they need, I have notes for them for this one. Like I mean, they basically took what I did and added those little bars. And I just don't think that fits the art style at all. Like, it's gotta be sketched on. They know, like I gave them the notes for that. And I think, like, this is all my old art, this stuff through here, and it's got that kind of shimmer shader effect on it. I don't know if I want that necessarily anymore. Anyway, for this level, I have notes for this level. When I was playing earlier. What were they? And I already know I should pull the camera out more. Where are we? Soundboard. Pull camera out more, center it, tap down. Yeah, actually I'm gonna fix that while I'm in here. Then I'll go on talking about more stuff. So I added the ability to not have the camera follow the player as much. This is soundboard floor sliding. Four? Yeah, 4. Okay, so right now the camera distance is 2300. Let's make that 3000. Let's pin it to the center. And let's give it a center. What level are you in? Perfect. Let's have your center be here. Forearms sliding. 4. And if my system's not busted, let's pin it a lot to the center. This should work. A little more distance, that helps, right? These colors are not working. It's just so much easier to see the playable space now. Need some kind of unlock effect, which has to feel better. Anyway, that unlocks the dance floor. This is the dance floor. You go dancing. What was I talking about? Yeah, that's one of the stages. So it's calendar, dance floor, scroll levels, there's quite a few there. Obviously the main stage is quite a few. The love boat, I've shown that off quite a few times. The Heartbreak. And then there's the end of the game. And then there's the beginning of the game, which is about an hour. So it's about 4 to 5 hours, maybe? I don't know. Some of the stuff later on gets really difficult. I actually don't know how long it is. When he's on his back, he looks happy. When he stands on his feet, he looks worried. Oh, is it too loud? Here, I'm sorry. I've turned down my audio like a lot for my headphones. So that's probably rude, because that means it's way louder for you than it is for me. Let me... I can't hear anything. That's way too loud for me. Oh, this is Spotify. That might just be... Let's listen to the game. It takes too damn long to launch the game now. Yeah, my mic is right next to my keyboard, that's true. Anyway, we're looking at the UI, right? That looks right to me. I'll call it, that's good. Good, that's 2 bugs done. So, update HUD with buttons, done. Center camera on soundboard level. I think we actually pulled that a little too far in that one. I'm gonna pull that back a bit. Set the mic on something soft, like a pillow or a towel. I have a napkin here. I don't know if that'll be enough. I do like simple solutions to shit, though. I don't know if this will actually help. Because I eat at my desk like an animal. Alright. Let me know if that helps. Oh yeah. By default, I want to set that top down. This distance feels good. Yeah, okay. Contacts are all stretched out. Everything more clever. Anyway. You can't imagine a US stream without sirens. Yeah, there's also a train really close to us. I have both of those. Try sock. Thanks, Dandy. I appreciate it. This is good. I like streaming. People just keep telling me how good stuff looks. It's all positive vibes up in here. What's it gonna do? Soon, Dandy. Alright, what do I want to do here? Oh, I got a bunch of followers. Thank you. Oh, gee. Soon, Dandy. Before the end of the year. I don't know exactly when, but soon. Soon. Thank you, everybody that followed me. Sorry, I don't have like one of those things that, you know, like makes noises and beeps and shit. But cool. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to thank you for following me. Is it going to be on Steam? It is not. It will be eventually. But for the Epic funded the game, so it'll be an Epic store initially. And on various consoles. TBD when and which consoles, but it will be on consoles. At least one. I'm sorry, man. I'll make it worth the wait. It'll be worth it. Alright, what's the next thing on this? God damn, this list is long. Most of these are bugs. A lot of these are bugs in an area I can't show you yet. Can't spoil the last third of the game. I made that promise. But I will tell you this. Fuck ton of bugs in the last third of the game right now. That's what this next week is gonna be. So after you complete one of the default levels, the music gets loud, it never gets quiet again. Let's repro that, shall we? I noticed that this morning. And my music system is very sloppy. So let's just skip to the last level. So you hear the music now? It is supposed to get louder. It's supposed to get quieter. It sounds like it's still loud, doesn't it? And if I go into like... I think that's probably too loud. Let's look. Okay, so scale is 1 and this was 1.25, which is what it should be by default. Oh, but this only happens when we fade in. How am I changing this? On the final level. Call background. So I set the volume scale to 2. And I assume here you have background music, force track, and level. When that happens, Okay, so this is where I make it louder. How do I make it quieter later? What's everything? So I bet somewhere later on I'm just manually lowering the volume but not changing out the stem, so it's not getting applied. So I need to figure out where I'm changing the volume. I mean, does anything call you directly? No. I see. Okay, so what I've been doing is I raise the volume and I just leave it raised until a new song is called. But there's loads of times when they'll never call a new song. So that's sloppy. So when can I lower the volume again? Should be when you pull back out to the menu. Do you want to do it every time you pull back out to the menu? Seems stupid. But I do anticipate wanting to raise the volume on the music. Basically, every time you unlock something I need to do next month is make it feel good when you unlock things. It's gonna be like my big task. And a lot of that's gonna be like crank up the music. So yeah, I do wanna... after an unlock, so maybe I'll embed it in the HUD, or in the widget. So every time you unlock a stage, exciting things happen. Click the OK button. You return to level select. Do I have any references to game mode? This is the thing where I had to stop. Referring to the game mode everywhere. Because it was crashing. So we're gonna make an interface to call it. No, that's stupid. I mean, it wasn't crashing. It was crashing when the widgets were referencing each other, so maybe we'll get away with it. Let's just try it. Get game mode. Cast to game mode blueprint. Sorry, Elmore. Reference. No, sorry. Pure cast. I brought Elmore into the project, and the very first thing I did was make every static mesh in the game movable and set it so you could rotate the entire world. I'm not kidding. On the other hand, it does look cool. Check it out. songs slower than the keyboard. Hold on, I'm missing puns. I'll get back to the chat in a second. Seriously though. Check it out though. Worth it, right? I think it's worth it. I mean, I still need to hide some stuff here. We still have a ways to go, but the idea's in. That's gonna look hella cool someday. Looks like shit. What? Oh, Blueprint looks like Shinsen.io. Okay, home to go. Yeah, man, I'm moving every static mesh in the world. Obviously not the gameplay. The gameplay only loads for the level you're on. But there's nothing has any physics and nothing casts any shadows or is affected by lighting. So it's surprisingly not a big deal. Theoretically, I didn't notice anything. We'll find out. So, no one's complained yet. So what I was doing was, background music. Yeah. Call this Do I call none? No. Maybe. No, it's not none. It's not nothingness. There's no way to just call the base, huh? You could call it any random thing that has, so you could call it the accordion. Doesn't really matter because it's going to play no matter what. Set the stem weight to 0. The whole point is I need to force the volume scale to change. I faded too quickly. Let's fade it over like 0.5 seconds. It actually would have been worse to move the camera because the grid is in a specific, well, one thing this is cooler, but another thing is like the logic exists in a grid and the grid has a specific up and down, left and right, and like it can't, like I don't have, it's not set up to be able to just take all the logic and turn it. So it's easier to turn the graphics than it is to turn the logic by a lot. Like I don't even know where to begin with actually shifting the logic. For like how the world is constructed and how you... Because I'm not relying on anything native to Unreal for any of the collision, any of the logic, right? Like, it's literally, there is a grid world. Oh, God, it's been so long, it's actually kind of hard to explain. But yeah, like there's a matrix of numbers that make up, that's 1,000 by 1,000 by 1,000, that make up the logic lives within this, and at any given time I load in a level, and there's certain block, like depending on what I have in that level, it's just like this block blocks you and the character can stand on it, this block blocks you and the character cannot stand on it, and so forth. And all that there's a lot of assumptions around how that stuff works, so I can't just take that and turn it, but I can take all the graphics and turn them. That's easy. That's just verts. It's just stupid verts. It's better. Okay. There, I fixed it. The easiest of the bugs. No, there were easier bugs. I already handled those. Oh, God, I don't want to deal with that. Oh, this is a quick one. I re-exported Euler's mouthpiece earlier, and I lost the normals somehow. Not yet. Is this what I... Definitely have normals, right? Yeah. How'd I lose the normals? Hi. Softening the normals. Why would you compute the normals? Don't do that. Much better. Are you doing that elsewhere? What else have you done this to? Good. You know what's always bothered me about this? I'm gonna fix this now. Or I might never do it. Use this art source player. Ditch. Oh, this file's a pain in the ass. Why is the camera so fucked up? The hell happened there? I also don't know why my camera can't orbit. Don't know a lot of things. Yep, so I definitely achieved that super rough, kind of fucked up outline look. That's a style. Not sure what the deal is here. I thought this was going to be a 2-second thing. Well, let's just take a look. Okay. Oh my god, so much better. Okay. Oh, so the reason I did that was because I had another mesh theoretically exporting. Weird. Alright, I can't spend a year on this. I mean, this was definitely intentional, but it looks a little too exaggerated. In game. It's a bit better. Okay, stop it. Alright. Right, horn. Select hierarchy. More importantly, it looks like there's supposed to be something around the bell. That was the real thing I was kind of fixing. It's the fact that that thing isn't there. Why not? Because there's this whole mesh here. That's probably what I should have done in the first place. Hey Brian, what's up, man? I want to major in comp sci, but I'm scared I might not be able to because I'm nervous and won't be able to pass. I feel like I will fail college. Okay. Audible took off. Goodbye, April. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything else. Alright. So, you want to take comp sci. You're a freshman in college. I'm guessing you have an undeclared major right now? You're afraid that your comp sci degree is too aggressive and that you're going to fail if you try. And this failure is keeping you from starting. So you have a B+. I'm sorry, you have a major in business. You're a B+ student and you're worried about failing in the intro. Oh, you have a B. Okay. This is very it's difficult to give people advice in this scenario because there's a lot of different angles, and the reality is different people need different advice. And it's difficult to give advice without knowing exactly what position you're in. And I mean, it's not even something you can really tell me, right? Because people often seek out the wrong advice. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so if somebody comes to me and they say, like, I'm really tired, I go and I sit at my desk and my eyes blur and I immediately feel tired just looking at work and I just don't want to do it. There could be two things. It could be that they've been working non-stop and they're super burnt out, or it could be that they've just been so lazy for so long they've forgotten what a day's work is like, and then they need to buckle down and do it, right? And it puts me in an awkward position because in that instance, I would have to choose one of those things. I don't just say that, but it could be the exact wrong advice, and it could be the wrong advice for that person, right? And so there's a lot of things I can say to you. I can say to you that you don't need a college degree necessarily. If you're interested in comp sci, you could teach yourself comp sci. College is extremely expensive, but I don't know which college you're going to, and I don't know if you're the kind of person that does need that sort of structure, right? I could say to you that the fear of failure is a really stupid reason not to do something. That in general, what is the worst case scenario if you try this and you fail? Like, where does that actually lead you? Do you not have the resources to handle that? And if so, if you're very risk averse and this fear is going to keep you up at night, it's going to stress you out, then maybe it is worthwhile considering doing something like a double major or something, because you definitely don't want to push yourself to a point where you stop sleeping. Different people have different risk tolerances, you understand? And so this is the kind of thing where you sort of need to figure it out on your own and ask the people in your life that know you well. And I know that's difficult. Well, people in your life that know you well and are willing to be honest with you. But I think most often when somebody asks a question like this, they already have an idea in their mind, a thing that they're kind of hoping that I'll say. And I'm curious what it is that you're hoping I would say. Like, when you asked this question, what was it that deep down you were really hoping that I would give you right now? Because there could be different things. You could be, in a way, asking for permission to fail because nobody's told you that you could necessarily do that, right? Or you could be... I mean, there's just a lot of different angles. And I bet when you started this conversation, there was something you were really, really hoping I would say to you, right? So, tell me what that is, because that'll be illuminating. Yeah, that looks better. Oh my god, so much better. Now I'm really pissed about those stupid little lines though, that I definitely introduced with my dumb shit. We're gonna fix those. I'll leave this up so I can see when you reply. You the thing. No. Interesting. I think I know why I scrunched this down and when it's all becoming clear now. He never came back. You know who gives the best advice? It's Chris Rock. Oh, I can't do that on stream. I'll get in trouble. I hadn't started yet. God. Whatever. I think getting off of Twitch and getting back to whatever it is you're supposed to be doing is probably the best case scenario. Hopefully shit pans out for him. I cannot be noodling with this long. But you know what? Yes, I can. It's a fucking character. Why am I feeling guilt? It's weird. Let's see if I got rid of all the little weird. Yeah, that's better. Did you guys ever hear the Chris Rock parody of Wear Sunscreen? I don't know why that popped into my head earlier today and I was listening to it again. That's really only relevant if you heard the original though. And it's probably the kind of thing that's banned on Twitch. You want to Google, if you're looking for it, pop cans, you Google, there is no sex in the champagne room. There's champagne in the champagne room. That's what you're looking at Google. Chris Rock. All right. But you don't want champagne. You want sex. Hey, Riverium. Yeah, you joined at a weird time. What's up, Ira? We were talking about, have you ever heard that? The Chris Rock parody of Wear Sunscreen? I've never been completely convinced purple was the best here. It stands out. In every level. And it's not like, yeah. I need to add more purple effects so it doesn't feel so out of place. Anyway. Okay. Normal is fixed. Okay. So the next one's gonna be interesting. I heard that skit way back when. Fair enough. Yeah, every now and then I think back to Gazillion and I smile. Hey Bandit, welcome to the game, man. Welcome to the channel about the game. This is not the game. This is a Twitch stream of a person making a game. Possibly game of the year. Maybe greatest game of all time, we don't know yet. And you're here, witnessing it. Appreciate the mood that is my outliner. This is the default, isn't it? I think it is. Alright, here's the deal. So, these levels are easy-ish. These levels are kind of hard. By far the hardest part of the game is falling in love. It's very difficult to do. And if you do it, you can unlock... No, I don't even think I make you fall in love all the way. Because it was just too hard. I think if Euler and Rue do enough stuff together, eventually they unlock this stage. I forget what I call it. A lover's quarrel. But I never tell you that it unlocks. It just kind of happens. Like all of a sudden, at one point, that's just sort of available. And that's bullshit. I should tell you, hey, there's a thing available. Otherwise, you'll never notice. So, let's figure out several things. First, I changed it to be easier to get into a fight. Where the hell even is that? Okay, so... Breakup stage unlocked. Now this is an interface. Game mode. Breakup stage is unlocked if you've unlocked the fight. Okay. Oh, okay. So you do have to have completed one of the love levels entirely, like the entire section. And you have to have started the other section. Okay. So where do I need to check for this? I need to check for this in 3 places then, right? I need to check for this. Also, I need a way to message the player. Let's start with the message, because that's easy. Game logic. Okay, so there's already a message I can do. It's called TA Fight. This is difficult because it's a stage, and it's a stage with only one section in it. So how do I want to message this? Is it a stage or is it a section? Let's just message it as a section. And let's just put it. Dance floor complete. Okay. So if the boat is complete or the dance floor is complete, crap. There's no easy way to do this. I need to store if I've told you that this is unlocked. Okay, there needs to be like an integer, and the integer needs to be 3. You get 1 when you do the first level of each of these sections, and 1 you get to do the last level of each section. So when it hits 3, I tell you. So yes. How am I going to do that? Add D fight. Check 3. Check 4. No. This is stupid. No, it's not. Okay, yeah, here's how to return. Breakup stage unlocked. Count. An int. And what you're gonna be is this is if you're unlocked. Check 3. Check 3, check 4, add these together. Sorry. Int. Check 1. Check 2. Okay. So there's 4 checks, and if this is ever greater than or equal to 3, then the breakup stage is unlocked, and also we're going to pass this number through. And this is what we're doing from now on. And where are we doing this? Now I have to set all this to happen. So the first 2 are easy. When you unlock these, no, I have more to go here. So this. Sorry, I'm gonna ignore chat for a while I get this done. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll read what you guys said. Well, if this is gonna take forever to compile. It's 100% blueprint error. But give me 1 second and I'll read more. Game mode. turn. Too much game here, guys. Compiling is taking forever now. Okay. Then in the unlocked stage message, if this is equal to 3, I think that's how it works, right? Yes. Okay. This is equal to 3. You've unlocked 2 sections, and one of them is called TA Fight. I verify that's correct. TA Fight, yes, okay. Good. Now, nothing's gonna work until I add the other checks. So I need to go into, I'm gonna do some level scripting here. The first boat level. Bind. Oh, don't be like that. Yeah, bind to execute effect. What if I need to, oh, for fuck's sake. No, okay, yeah. Okay, so one thing you're gonna do. When this is when you hit the win condition, go to the game mode, add to. Also, turn level progression interface if this is currently 2. This is going to be more than 5 minutes. This is going to be quite a task, actually. It just occurred to me. I need a new special unlock for this instance. So, unlocked stage or message. I need a new one of these. Unlocked. So the instance where you've, like, say you did the dance floor, you've done the first level, you complete the dance floor, doing the first level of the boat. Here at this moment, I need you to do an unlock. And the way I'll do that is set section. Or no. Unlocked TA fight. Correct? Correct. Do this here. Yes, that should work. Next thing is the other level. The first dance floor level. Wonder what the hell that's about. Fight check 1. By the way, if this is 2, add this here. One more thing. There's gonna be 4 edge cases to check for this too, so we're gonna do some checking. I need to handle this. That should do it. Theoretically. I'll read chat before I check all this. Hey, Michael. Hey Naj. Got frustrated today by this lovely tool. I'm undergoing a full UI redo. For some reason I corrupted a parent-child link somehow. That sucks, Michael. I'm on 4.21. I haven't been able to upgrade. I think I'm gonna have to be on 4.21, like for the duration of forever. Cause like I hired Disbelief to port the game, and they've already started troubleshooting some things, and basically like upgrading to 4.22. There's just some reason I shouldn't do that. I fixed all the cyclical dependencies and shit to get to 4.21, but there's whole new crashes in 4.22, and it's a bleeding edge thing, and we're just not willing to move on to that right now. We don't need to. I want it to be on the latest one, because I feel like by the time I ship it'll be later this year, and then next year new consoles are dropping, and I feel like eventually I'm going to have to update anyway, so it would have been nice to be on 4.22, but I'm going to be on 4.21 until such time as I can't. And yes, blueprints from hell, haha. Yeah, we determined that it was just too high risk and too much work. So we will not do that. Let's see if my crazy ass spaghetti code actually worked. So if I'm right, which things should we test first? Just to compile that shit I didn't compile because it's taking too long. There's a lot of changes I didn't see in the patch notes regarding some variable types being deprecated, default values being changed. The default for key is now any key instead of no key, which broke all my inputs. Oh. Brutal. I know the changes in 4.22 were massive. The one thing that did draw me to it was the potential performance wins from completely removing the physics system. The fact that they pulled out the entirety of the physics system. I feel like they're in a position where they have this big ass engine and they're trying to make it more modular, so they can pull out different parts of it for different things, right? Like, I think Epic's really keen on being more than just an engine, being for games, being a thing that people can use to make film, being a thing that people can use for... I remember when Irrational closed, like, HBO was hiring Unreal Engine devs. I know there was a talk about they're using the Unreal Engine at Uber for like some of their shit. And so as part of the effort to make the Unreal Engine more multi-purpose, they need to make it more modular, which is good in the long run and is going to be really cool. And it has knock-on effects for games. Like, I would love to be able to just disable all of physics with a button click, because it's been a drag to like do that for every little thing individually. I was really looking forward to that and kind of wanted that. But it's also a struggle. Like, it's hard to do that this late in the game for them, I imagine. What are we going to test first? Well, let's add a breakpoint here. Make sure this actually happens. First, we dance. We do hit that breakpoint. Good. Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead. If you don't want to spoil the game, if you're smart, ignore this part. This is one of the harder levels. Alright, and if I'm right, nothing should happen here other than the usual. This cutscene's missing. Okay, that's good. And now, the third thing we do should unlock it. So this should unlock it. Fuck you. Where was that unlock, huh? Flight check 1. That definitely happened. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is all disconnected. Okay, alright. Our chess case is still possible. I just removed this dialogue. Ugh, it made everything dirty. That sucks. Fuzzy is pretty fun. Glad you like it, Michael. Yeah, it's interesting. The engine space is always interesting. Interesting to follow. I've cooled off on Origin, though I still hear amazing things about it. You always want the one you can't have. Okay, this time, theoretically... we get an unlock. Alright, I'm gonna have to fix the idle in the case of an unlock. I'm gonna make a note of that. But it's working, and that's what's important. That looks inappropriate. But, you know, yeah. Okay, let me write a note. So... if unlocking stage, don't execute hopping idle in love boat levels. I have to fix that for the end of the game, or the end of that section too anyway. I see you're flickering again, huh? Is that what we do now? We flicker? Is that what we're about? I thought we were better than that, but you know, maybe we're not. Maybe we intermittently flicker. I'm watching you. Okay. Technically that works. We should test a couple more things. We should also close the editor because we've dirtied every fucking file. We should close the editor without doing this and then do another test case. Yeah, before we check this in. swear the editor didn't used to take this long to open. I'm savvy updated. We had to. It's fine. It's for the best. The audio engine stuff, I was using stuff in the new audio engine, and if I do move to the new consoles, I need to be on this engine version. The new consoles. If I do move to consoles, which I plan to, any of them, then I need to be on this engine version. I'm not talking about the new consoles yet. I wish. Literally, I wish Sony would reply. Can't even... I don't even know if I'm going to be on the PS4 at this rate. I should come up with a strategy for that. I don't know why I'm getting angsty. To be fair, I applied 2 weeks ago. People wait longer than that. I am very impatient. You need extra permission or pay money to deploy game on consoles? You kind of got to get into their ecosystem. To be honest, I don't know. I've never managed Sony. Yeah, I have time. I know exactly what it takes to work with Microsoft. You apply to be part of their ID at Xbox program. It helps if you like... It's difficult to have a contact at Microsoft because they do tend to turn over pretty quickly, but if you know somebody at ID at Xbox, you can email them and kind of like scoot ahead in their system. I think it's probably like that everywhere. But mostly you just apply and then you get into their ecosystem and then they send you a dev kit. I actually don't know what happens after that. You know what? I'll be able to answer that question better later. Because I'm usually the one, like with the Flame of the Flood, I flew around and I demoed the game, but I didn't handle any of the... I mean, I had to use their web portal to put information into spreadsheets for our finances, but when it came to actually like updating the builds and shit, I didn't do any of that. You're in ID at Xbox and can't answer much more than that? Yeah, I'm also in ID at Xbox. I don't know what else I have to do. Like, I imagine there's another step at some point, which I'll figure out. This is why I'm not making any fucking comments about which console I'm coming out on and when. Like, it's just too much of a distraction, unfortunately. And by the time it becomes something I can think about, I'm concerned that it'll, even if I've like ported the game, I don't know how long it takes to do all this stuff before you even go to cert. Like, I'm not quite sure. You have dev kits and I'm working on getting UE4 propped up. It's been proven challenging. That's the one thing I don't have to do. That's why I took the money from Epic. I'm hiring I already hired Disbelief, basically. They're going to port the game for me. I just don't have to do it. Because I can't. So that was an easy decision. But that just only handles the code side of things. There's the whole, like... I mean, Microsoft has been very responsive. I'll give them that. But it's just been a lot of stuff. It's not even easy to explain. Most of it's my fault. When I first signed up for their ID at Xbox program, I signed up as Gwen Frey rather than Chump Squad LLC, and then I incorporated later, and then I had to like go through their system again and transition everything from Gwen Frey to Chump Squad LLC, and I had to get like a notarized document with I had to make a letterhead for Chump Squad LLC, go to a notary public and get like a thing saying Kind was officially transferred from me to an LLC, which is just a shell for also just me. So it's just a giant pain in the ass. And it was, like I said, that's not even really on them. They're just doing what they have to legally do. But yeah, that's why, like, anytime you do this stuff, with Sony it was irritating too, because like I haven't even, like I did the prep beforehand for Sony, which was, I operate out of like an attic in my house that I'm renting. So I don't have a static IP, which is an issue if you want to develop for the PS4. So I had to like get an SVN. I had to research this. How do you deal with this if you don't have a static IP, and what do other indies do? And it's like, okay, I have to get an SVN to get a static IP before you can even start to apply. Like they want your IP address before you can even get into their ecosystem, right? Which is fine. Like it's just stuff. It's just everything is just stuff. Like every storefront is just a pile of work. It's not. None of it's unreasonable. It just becomes a lot in aggregate, right? If you're one person. Anyway. Yep. None of it's unreasonable. You're not like allowed to get mad because it's not excessive. It's just because every storefront has to do certain things and they're in different countries. Like it just adds up. What was I even testing, guys? Right, yeah, okay. How do we want to test this time? This time let's do the opposite. Let's do it in the reverse order that I just did. Let's do first a boat level. This boat level specifically. Okay. I gave up on PS4 because of static IP reason. Oh, really? To be fair, I could have bought a static IP through Comcast. It was just they wanted to charge me something like $80 a month. And I was willing to pay it, but that seemed like a lot. And I asked my friends and they were like, don't fucking do that. So I just decided not to. If I get an Xbox, and that's why it took me so long to like get a static IP, because I found a service that would be like, I forget what it was, but something like $50 a year. Yeah, Comcast. So now we dance. That's 2. Alright. Now, if you care about this game, don't watch this. This is a hard level. You want to save this for later. Alright, and we've unlocked 2. Good. If I go back out here, the Heartbreak level is unlocked. Okay. And they fight. Cool. So I think we can say that bug is squashed, but it did introduce a new bug. So, a lesser bug. You kill a bug and it fractures into littler bugs that you will then also kill, one by one. This is progress. That you should not have seen that. Let's check that in. File, save all. These are hard. Oh, here's a tiny one. Okay. I had scripting at one point that would make this look different. If you were in opening level 03, it's the smallest imaginable thing. If you're in a level, and that level is opening level 03, set this to true. What the hell? Why did we not hit that break point? Oh, no, of course not. No, yeah, you wouldn't be. I moved that and I wasn't allowed to move that. And I thought I was being more efficient. Hit a breakpoint. Yeah, and now that's what I wanted. That's all. It's little things. It's the little things. Okay. That's really the dumbest imaginable bug. But it is fixed. And there's a line on my list, and now that line is gone. So I was reading chat. What do I want to do now? I think I might end the stream. Let's hang out. Because I think some of the bugs I really should handle, I probably can't stream. So, probably gonna take off. It was fun hanging out though. And you guys are having a good conversation, so I'll host somebody. Yeah, no problem. Who do we have to host today? Nobody.
Squad Mega Man was a part of it.
None of these people. Do you guys know anybody? Is there anybody you want me to host? Hey, Abandoned Sheep. Hey, Middle. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Middle, do you still stream? Do you want to stream right now, or is it like way too late for you? I think you were streaming earlier, right? Alright. Yeah, I might just end it then, Ira, if you two can chat on Steam. I do feel bad. I feel like you had like a thing here. I'm ruining your thing. I could host somebody. They might like it. I feel like that's appropriate. Make new friends. No, I can't. Game development. It's not a thing people do. Those are videos. Do you want a game development programming lecture? Ooh, let's look for Unreal Engine. Let's support my people. Live from GDC. That's not possible. Those are videos. Okay. UE4? Oh, I popped up. That's weird. UE4 level art. You know what? I'm gonna give up. Oh. Good night, Middle. How does one get started with UE4? I don't know. How do you get started with anything? You download it, you come up with something you want to make. I mean, then you make it. They do have a lot of documentation. And it's well, like, you can Google anything you need to do here. I know that was really bitchy, but I am about to leave. Sorry if that was a curt reply. I'm taking off. Have a good night. Enjoy Game of Thrones, Ira. Peace.